Matt, let's kick off. Let's kick off with you, Matt. They're demonising coal. It's all the usual stuff. They're going to take a slice of more taxes in Queensland for coal. What is going on, Matt? Talk us through it.
Well, Rowan, these new taxes from the Labor Party, which seemingly every time the Labor Party has a problem, they put on a new tax, and they're going to hit towns like Emerald. Here I'm at the Marraboon Tavern in Emerald, and as I was checking in at the Marraboon Motor Inn just before, Dennis there was raising with me the concern already that he's feeling and hearing about this new coal royalty tax grab from Brisbane. His hotel relies on industries like coal filling the rooms up. The pub here behind me relies on this industry, and I was out at the Agro exhibition today in Emerald, and a lot of people are worried about energy. A lot of people are worried about the fact that we export our coal to the rest of the world, but we're not using it here. People in this new Labor government don't seem to understand a simple fact. There used to be Labor politicians that worked with machines, that had experience in factories, but they don't seem to understand this very simple fact, Rowan, that old machines tend to break down, new ones not so much. It's a very complicated concept, I know, but people get their heads around. But the issue for us is our coal-fired power stations are old. They haven't been, money's not being spent on them because we've committed to net zero, so why would you spend money on an industry that the politicians want to shut down? And they're breaking down. What we need to do is build new ones, like they're doing in Asia with our coal, and then we'll have reliable electricity again. Wouldn't that be good?
James, we've had Chris Bowen, as Matt says, blaming the crisis on the breakdowns in coal generation. We've had Matt Keane demonising coal in New South Wales and then suddenly turning around and going, oh, it's because there are no new coal-fired power plants. How do you think Labor are going to get away with this kind of blaming everybody but themselves?
Well, I certainly hope not. I mean, it's a ridiculous situation where you've got Australia with enormous amounts of coal and gas and uranium, and yet right now here in Sydney, we're being warned of blackouts in the middle of our coldest start to winter in 30 years. And the worst part of it, Rowan, is it was entirely foreseeable. With no sun and no wind and deliberate scarcity of coal and gas comes low supply and high prices. And the stupid part is that governments have implemented policies that discourage investment in coal-fired power stations, and then they blame a lack of investment in coal-fired power stations for the energy crisis. There's this push to do away with what we know will provide reliable energy for something we hope will give us reliable energy. And we're completely emasculating the economy in a bid to meet dubious climate change targets that affect less than 2% of global emissions. It's hardly a good strategy.
Matt, you live in beautiful Rockhampton. Love your part of the world. It's the best. Happy to swap with you any day. You can come and move down to Sydney and I'll take Queensland. No worries, mate. No worries.